system.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights.
Good evening and welcome to NDTV. I'm Ankit Tyagi. It's nationwide at 6, your destination for the news from across the country here on NDTV. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's very quickly give you a sense of what we are going to discuss in an action-packed hour that we have lined up for you. We'll talk about first, we'll take you to Mumbai. And are there two laws? Can any language be forced down people's throat with the help of violence? This is what MNS has done, and we'll expose this so-called political party which is acting like a gang in Mumbai. We'll also then speak about, in fact, remember that movie that you have seen, an old movie, Mother India, the iconic scene, that being played out even in the India of 2025, the burden of poverty and the poor farmers left to bear it. We'll also then talk about, a story which is very, very important for all our viewers across all metros. The rush hour, your taxi, your cab ride, your bike ride, all that is going to be more costlier, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get you all the details on this, but let's start with the headlines. Shopkeeper thrashed in Mumbai over the Marathi pride. Shopkeeper says living in fear. 7 people booked. No action yet. Government opposition hit out at Raj Thackeray's MNS. MVA says no place for violence over language. A day after Congress High Command's intervention, Siddha Ramaya, DK Shiv Kumar war fully in public within 24 hours of show of unity now falls flat. Dalai Lama announces succession plan. 600-year-old institution will continue, says Dalai Lama. China attempts to interfere in succession. There are two laws, it seems, ladies and gentlemen, one for the common public, one for so-called workers of a political party. And what they did in Mumbai once again shows the mindset of certain people, the cheap political games at play. Assaulted, humiliated, repeatedly slapped, abused, threatened in front of in his own establishment, in front of his own employees and customers. For what? Just a few words of Hindi. And this is not a story coming in from any other country. It is in your own country, in India's financial capital, Mumbai, at the hands of Goons, the Gundas of Maharashtra Nirman Sena. The viral video, which shows MNS workers surrounding a shopkeeper, engaging in a heated exchange over language issue, and then physically assaulting him. The shopkeeper recounts the intimidation, abuse. We'll talk to him in just a short while from now, the fear that he's living in. But let me first, very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, just play out for you the entire sequence of event and what happened. Let's just go back and play out what happened before these accused. This was the shopkeeper in Mumbai. And suddenly, MNS workers come and they start assaulting him because his staff and he did not speak in Hindi. They took a bottle of water. They were asked, which one do you want? The bigger one or the smaller one, the 10 rupee one or the 20 rupee one? Only these few lines in Hindi enraged them so much that they started assaulting this man. Not once, not twice, not thrice, 4 to 5 times, repeatedly, in front of his employees, in front of the customers. He was humiliated, all because they have a sense of pride, the Marathi pride, their language over everybody else. And this is how they want the people living in Mumbai, so-called cosmopolitan city, where the threat level, look at this, they are going across telling people that if you'll have to live in Mumbai, you live by their rules. And if you don't live by their rules, this is what they'll do to you. And why have they been able to do it repeatedly, one after another, so many times? Because nothing happens to them. They feel they're over the law and justice in this country. There is outrage after this incident. The three-language, conversation, the debate. But is this how you want to shove your language, chauvinism around people's throat, deep and, hurt them, humiliate them in this way? Is this what Marathi pride entails too? And when there were questions asked of the MNS party, their response is nothing less than shocking, though it's not surprising. Their response will somehow tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it is almost like, workers of this party, so-called party, they are not workers. They are not political activists. They are gundas, goons, punters, masquerading as political workers. It's not a political party, but they are punters of a street-level gang in Mumbai. Just listen in to what they said when we confronted them.
जब जब कोई मराठी का अगर आदर नहीं करेगा ना, वो मार खाने ही वाला है। मराठी का आदर जो महाराष्ट्र में आना चाहता है, जो अपना पेट भरना चाहता है, जिनको लगता है कि महाराष्ट्र में अपने बीवी बच्चियाँ सेफ है, सुरक्षित है, उनको मराठी आनी चाहिए। जो मराठी का आदर नहीं करेगा वो पीटेगा।
How nonchalant, Marathi का आदर नहीं करेगा तो पिटेगा. If everybody in this country decides my language over yours, and if you don't speak that language, we'll start beating you up. Do we understand what this country is going to become? And as I said, all this is happening, repeatedly happening. These people think that this is a shortcut to fame because it's so easy to do this and get away with it. Police won't do anything. I want to, at this moment on the broadcast, first of all, expose these so-called bhais, the dadas, the gundas of MNS. Pramod Nilker, prime accused. First, he started slapping the shopkeeper and then others joined in. 5-6 people come together. Suddenly your Marathi pride, your testosterone go up. You feel that you can intimidate a single person. That's what these people do. They are cowards. Akshay Salvi, he's the second person to start slapping the shopkeeper, so-called MNS worker. There is one more person, Karan Kanagire, prime accused, third person to slap the shopkeeper. Look at their faces smiling away because they know nothing is going to happen to them. Sachin Sulankhe, accused number 4. You know that nothing is going to happen to him. That's why he's smiling. All these are related to a political party. FIR has been registered. What will happen to them, nobody knows. Amol Patil was also a member of this gang of cowards which went and threatened this elderly shopkeeper. And now imagine if all of them, they won't have the guts to do it if they are not in Mumbai. They won't have the guts to even, come out and say a peep if they are found alone. It's only when they come together they feel empowered. Their Marathi pride comes out. Let me very quickly at this moment go across to Babulal Chaudhary, the shopkeeper, the owner of this shop, in fact, who was threatened, slapped, intimidated in this entire incident. बाबूलाल जी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए। सबसे पहले मैं सबसे पहले आपको ये कहना चाहता हूं कि पूरा देश इस वक्त आपको देख रहा है और आपके साथ है। आपके साथ जो बदतमीजी की गई, आपके साथ जो मारपीट की गई, उसे किसी भी तरीके से जस्टिफाई नहीं करा जा सकता। पूरा देश आपके साथ है। सबसे पहले मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूं बाबूलाल जी, हुआ क्या था? किस बात को लेकर 5 लोगों को लगा कि अकेले आपके ऊपर इस तरीके से वो हमला कर सकते हैं?
सर है ना 29 तारीख को शाम को 10 बजे का टाइम था। म्युनिसिपालिटी का है ना हमारे जोधपुर स्वीट के सर्कल के सामने पूरा है ना 100-125 आदमी सब है ना झंडा लेके सब उनका कुछ प्रोग्राम था। वो सर्कल के जोधपुर स्वीट के सामने सर्कल पे 10 बजे से सब प्रोग्राम कर रहे थे। और अचानक है ना 10:30 बजे 7-8 आदमी हमारे दुकान पे आते हैं और डायरेक्ट है ना गले पे जाते हैं और मेरे पास आते हैं और मेरे को बोलते हैं जो आप दुकान चलाते हैं, आपके जो स्टाफ है हिंदी में बात कर रहे हैं, आपकी दुकान कौन से स्टेट में है? तो मैंने बोला हमारा दुकान महाराष्ट्र में है। उसके बाद में उन्होंने बोलते हैं कि कानपुर महाराष्ट्र में कौन सी भाषा बोली जाती है? तो मैंने बोला कि सर महाराष्ट्र में सभी भाषाएं बोली जाती है। इतना कहने के बाद है ना वो सब है ना हमारा जो मंच के कार्यकर्ता है सब मिलके मेरे को एक साथ में मेरे को मारते हैं और अच्छी तरह से है ना 10-15 मिनट तक मेरे को मारते रहते हैं। और उसके बाद में सामने से है ना बाद में 7-8 आदमी और आते हैं और हमको छुड़वाते हैं। सर है ना हम मीरा रोड में है ना सर कम से कम 20-25 साल से धंधा करते हैं। हम मराठी भाषा और कहने का मतलब महाराष्ट्र हमारा कर्म भूमि है। हम उनका स्वागत करते हैं, हम लोग उनका आदर करते हैं। हमारे में ऐसा कुछ नहीं मराठी के खिलाफ, हम लोग हमारे व्यापारी भी मराठी है। लेकिन इन्होंने जो मेरे साथ में जो किया, मैं तो एकदम फ्रेंडली उनसे बात कर रहा था और अचानक है ना ऐसे बोलना खाली कि सभी भाषाएं बोली जाती है पर वो लोग है ना सब मिलके एकदम अचानक मेरे ऊपर धावा बोल देते हैं।
जी बाबूलाल जी, मैं आपसे ये समझना चाहता हूँ कितने साल से आप यहाँ पर काम कर रहे हैं और क्या इससे पहले कभी भी आपको भाषा को लेकर इस तरीके से डराया गया, धमकाया गया?
नहीं साहब, मैं मेरा रोड में हमारा 15-20 साल से हमारा बिजनेस है। हमारे 2-3 दुकान है मेरे रोड में जोधपुर स्वीट के नाम से। ऐसा फर्स्ट टाइम साहब है ना ऐसा हुआ है। एक्चुअली मैं भी है ना वो जो मंचे के जो कार्यकर्ता है संदीप राणे साहब हमारे दुकान पे आते हैं और ऐसे हम लोग फ्रेंडली बात भी करते हैं, नाश्ता पानी करके हम स्वीट भी लेके जाते हैं। लेकिन अचानक उस दिन जो किया उन्होंने, मैं तो एकदम फ्रेंडली बात कर रहा था सर, एकदम है ना अचानक ही मेरे को है ना मारामारी कर दिया सर।
बाबूलाल जी बड़ा, क्योंकि किसी के साथ भी इस तरीके से घटना होगी तो आदमी जाहिर सी बात है डर जाएगा, सहम जाएगा। आप को भी अब इस बात का डर है, मतलब पहली बार मुंबई में रहते हुए आपको डर का एहसास हुआ कि आपके आसपास के लोग ही इस तरीके से आप पे हमला कर देंगे?
हाँ जी, जैसा हमला किया ना साहब, अब ये काम करो जो मैं दुकान में जो हमला हुआ है ना, वो दुकान में 3 दिन से मैं जाने बंद कर दिया। मेरे को ऐसा डर हो रहा है और ऐसा मेरा दिल अंदर से है ना मेरा टूट गया है और ऐसा है ना मेरे बेइज्जती के हो गया साहब। पूरा है ना जो वीडियो उन्होंने है ना पूरा वायरल किया और मैं एकदम दिल से है ना वो गिर गया है साहब। ये है ना दुकान में जाने का मूड ही नहीं कर रहा है और डर
सर आपका कोई बेइज्जती नहीं हुआ है। आपको बिल्कुल भी ये सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है कि आपके साथ कोई बेइज्जती हुआ है या उन्होंने आपको धमकाने की कोशिश की, डराने की कोशिश की। शर्म उनको आनी चाहिए जिन लोगों ने इस तरीके की हरकत की है, शर्म उनको आनी चाहिए। आपको बिल्कुल भी परेशान नहीं होना चाहिए, सारा देश आपके साथ है। आपने इसके खिलाफ पुलिस में कंप्लेंट कराई?
हम लोग 12 घंटा नहीं कराया। उस दिन मारा ऐसा माहौल बन गया था सर और मैं डर गया था और मेरा है ना दिमाग भी काम नहीं कर रहा था, इसलिए उस दिन रात को मैं घर पे जाके सो गया। उसके बाद सुबह जब 11 बजे उठा तो व्यापारी लोग हमारे जो मेरा भाईंदर के व्यापारी और मेरे दोस्त है उन्होंने बोला ये काम को कंप्लेंट करना चाहिए। उसके बाद में मैंने है ना पुलिस स्टॉप में जाके 2-4 भाई लोग तो मिलके हम गए और उसके बाद में FIR दर्ज कराया सर।
कितने दिन हो गए सर FIR दर्ज कराए हुए आपको?
FIR में जितने भी 7 लोग थे 7 लोग का नाम लिखाया और हमने बोला कि ये काम करो। 7 लोग में से 3-4 लोग मेरे को मार रहे थे और जो 3-4 लोग है ना मेरे को गालियां दे रहे थे गंदी और दुकान बंद करने की धमकियां भी दे रहे थे।
नहीं, आपने FIR 30 तारीख को दर्ज कराया?
हाँ, हमने जो दूसरे दिन है ना 30 तारीख को हम 12 बजे गया था। तो
अभी तक पुलिस ने किसी को अरेस्ट नहीं किया है इसमें?
नहीं, कल पुलिस वालों ने उनको लेके गए थे 3 जन को।
हाँ।
तो 3 जन को लेके सुबह लेके गए थे और शाम को मेरे ख्याल से उनको वापस छोड़ दिया है।
यानी कि उनसे पूछताछ लेके गए और फिर छोड़ दिया उनको?
हाँ, सुबह सुबह 11 बजे लेके गए थे और मेरे ख्याल से 3-4 बजे वापस छोड़ दिया उनको।
आपको लगता है कि वो इसके बाद आप पे दोबारा हमला कर सकते हैं? कुछ आपको सुरक्षा की आवश्यकता है?
अब हमको पूरा एकदम डर है, और क्योंकि उनका है ना ऐसा खौफ है हमको कि आगे जाके भी हमारे क्या, एक्चुअली मेरे जोधपुर सूर्य के नाम से जो 3 दुकान है और खाने पीने की चीज़ है, तो आगे जाके 100% ये लोग हमको तकलीफ देंगे सब। पूरा डर है और पूरा हम डरे हुए हैं।
मैं बस आखिरी सवाल आपसे सर एक ये पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपके मराठी दोस्त भी होंगे बहुत सारे, आप मराठी भाषा समझ लेते हैं जब लोग आपसे बात करते हैं, ग्राहक भी आपके मराठी होंगे, किसी ने आज तक आपको बोला कि आप मराठी भाषा बोलिए, हिंदी मत बोलिए?
सर हमारे जो आधे व्यापारी मराठी है और कस्टमर भी हमारा मराठी है, हमको मराठी भाषा से कोई तकलीफ नहीं सर, लेकिन इन्होंने अब मराठी भाषा में हमको गर्व भी है, महाराष्ट्र हमारा कर्म भूमि है, लेकिन जो उस दिन जो किया ना वो अलग एक माहौल था। ये लोग जो है ना सोच के ही आए थे, क्या मालूम, वो अलग ही है सर। हम लोग महाराष्ट्र भाषा का आदर करते सर, हमारे व्यापारी भी है और कस्टमर भी आते हैं, तो एक्चुअली जो मराठी कस्टमर भी है तो वो हिंदी में ही बात करते हैं सर, तो हम भी है ना हिंदी में बात करते। जो मराठी कस्टमर आते हैं तो मराठी में बात करते, तो हम भी
इस समय मुख्यमंत्री महाराष्ट्र के देवेंद्र फडणवीस और राज ठाकरे जो मनसे के अध्यक्ष हैं, अगर वो इस समय आपको सुन रहे हैं तो उनसे आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? क्या कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए इन लोगों के खिलाफ?
जो मेरा है ना, मेरे और में दुकान है साहब, स्टाफ के सामने, कस्टमर के सामने, और एक काम को जो मारामारी किया है और एक काम करो जो उन्होंने किया है उसको है ना कानून के हिसाब से सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
बिल्कुल यही उम्मीद है सर, क्योंकि कानून इस देश में सबके लिए एक बराबर है, चाहे वो MNS के लोग हों चाहे कोई भी हो। अगर उन्होंने गलती की है, उन्होंने आपके साथ ये बदतमीजी की है, आपको मारा है, तो उनको इसकी सजा जरूर मिलनी चाहिए। बाबूलाल जी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए। जैसा मैंने आपको कहा, आपको इसके लिए बिल्कुल भी परेशान होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, इन लोगों को शर्मिंदा होने की आवश्यकता है जिन्होंने आपके ऊपर हाथ उठाया और आपसे इस तरह से बदतमीजी की। थैंक यू सो मच Babulal Chaudhary for speaking to NDTV at this moment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me also tell you one thing very, very clearly. Like this man said, it's been more than 24 hours. You know, he has gone, it's been almost 2 days that the FIR has been registered. Those 3 people were called in and let off. And that is exactly why this is going to happen again. This will happen again. We will talk about this on our show, because the police and the government of Maharashtra seems to be, at this moment, they don't have the guts to arrest them, put them behind bars and make an example out of these goons, so that no political party activist could think that they have a right to go and beat people like that lady was saying. We will impose it. Who the hell are they to impose anything in this country? This country is run by constitution. This country is run by the rule of law. Politics on this has started. MNS is on the target of BJP, of the opposition as well. Listen into some reactions.
हमारी भूमिका स्पष्ट है, मराठी के लिए कट्टर और हिंदुत्व और हिंदुस्तानी भाषा में प्रखर, यह भारतीय जनता पार्टी की भूमिका है। हम महाराष्ट्र में कट्टरता से मराठी बात करेंगे, लेकिन और कोई भाषा का अपमान और कोई भाषा के व्यक्ति का अपमान सहन नहीं करेंगे। कोई भी कानून हाथ में ले, ये सरकार मान्य नहीं करेगी।
तो हम सबका कहना है कि आप किसी को मार नहीं सकते, आप गुंडागर्दी नहीं कर सकते। उस व्यक्ति को अगर बताना है कि तुझे मराठी आनी चाहिए, सीखनी चाहिए, तो आप शांति से उसको बताओ, संवाद करो, उसके माध्यम से अगर वो समझ लेगा, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। लेकिन आप अगर संविधान को हाथ में लेते हो, मारापीटी करते हो, तो वो अच्छी चीज नहीं है। बताना है तो शांति से भी हम बता सकते हैं, लेकिन ये जो हिंदी सख्ती जो होने वाली थी 1st स्टैंडर्ड से 5th स्टैंडर्ड तक, उसका विरोध हम सबने किया। हम लैंग्वेज का विरोध नहीं करते।
महाराष्ट्र प्रगत राष्ट्र है, प्रगत राज्य है, और यहाँ पर लोग रोजगार के लिए आते हैं, हम उनका स्वागत करते हैं। लेकिन हम जहाँ भी जिस राज्य में आप जाते हो, उस राज्य की संस्कृति का सम्मान करना चाहिए, वहाँ की भाषा सीखनी चाहिए। तो जो लोग महाराष्ट्र में आते हैं उनका स्वागत है, उनको रोजी रोटी यहाँ मिलती है, तो उन्होंने यहाँ की संस्कृति और यहाँ की मराठी भाषा दोनों का सम्मान करना चाहिए। लेकिन मारपीट कर यह हासिल नहीं होगा। यह हासिल तो प्यार मोहब्बत से, सबको गले लगाकर, सबको अपना मानकर ही होगा। तो मारधाड़ के पक्ष में तो कांग्रेस कभी थी नहीं और कभी रहेगी भी नहीं। कानून व्यवस्था है, ये राज्य का विषय है।
For all these ठेकेदार्स of the language, the culture of Maharashtra, is this the example that you want to set? Is this what your culture is? And are these goons condoned by people at large? If not, action should be immediately taken against them. Why is MNS so desperate to once again come into the limelight and use these tactics that once Shiv Sena used to against the North Indians, in the 90s and the 2000s? In fact, Raj Thakre's party is staring at a political decimation. They've not been able to make any mark. They've not been able to hold, many MLAs. And they are looking at a very bleak future. In 2024 elections, they fielded 125 candidates. How many were able to win? A big zero. And that's why they are resorting to such tactics. Raj Thakre's own son, Amit Thakre, lost from Mahim constituency. And the party may even lose its election symbol and recognition because of the kind of performance that they have been putting out election after election. Party, in fact, it's a bid somehow. People are looking at this to revive the diminishing political capital, have a very small section of these kind of hooligans that are going to, in fact, be attracted by the people, those who are indulging in such acts. Raj Thakre raking up the language controversy to gain political grounds. And remember, there are elections around the corner. There is BMC polls, which is expected soon. And MNS is going on the rampage in a hope that they would be able to get some Marathi vote by doing all this. But the question is just not Raj Thakre. There are people who must act and are not acting, and that's why we repeatedly see these kind of scenes. Who must act on this? The Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, implement law to secure people. You can't have different laws for different people outside and those who are, from Maharashtra. Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister, is also the Home Minister. The question is, why aren't these people booked and behind bars at this moment? Why hasn't that been made out of these people? Apart from that, the question also is to the Police Commissioner of Mira Bhayandar, Madhukar Pandey. These three goons were called in and then let off. Why haven't they been arrested? Mr. Commissioner needs to answer that. Rashmi Shukla, Maharashtra DGP. Ma'am, it's your force. You are responsible for the law and order in the state of Maharashtra. And if these things happen, if there is a sense of fear and anybody can come, wearing a political badge and beat people and the police does not make an example out of them, then what kind of policing is being done in the state of Maharashtra? And then the question is also to Raj Thakre. Raj Thakre, the chief of the MNS, is this your diktat, Mr. Thakre? Or are you going to rein in such goons, those who are masquerading as political workers in your party? Otherwise, people will think it's not a political party, it's a Mumbai-based gang. All right, with that, we are slipping into a very short break at this moment. On the other side, I want to bring out the real story of India, the stories that we should be, as people, talking about. Take the plight of this farmer. It's not a movie scene. This is the reality. And this reality is also coming in from Maharashtra. Hopefully, MNS is looking at this. This is where you are needed to help, not to slap people. I'm coming back with this story after a short break. Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Terry and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools, and lead with impact. Starts July 13th. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on
Welcome back. Remember the 1950s popular cult movie Mother India, which starred Nargis Dutt, Sunil Dutt and Rajendra Kumar? One iconic shot of Nargis Dutt with a wooden plow, without oxen, with her two children, in fact, tilling the land. You thought that that was 1950s and that was just a movie. 2025, a video has come out and it tells you that the plight of the farmers from the 1950s to 2025 hasn't changed much. Don't turn your gaze away from this. It is the real life playing out. This is not the Mother India movie. This is a real life. Shame on all of us that the farmers in our country in 2025 are forced to bear the burden of a wooden plow without, of course, the resources to even have oxen or any other meager resources to till their land. They are an elderly farmer. And this video today tells us the real story, the reality check of the hardships farmers face, the agri distress that the farmers are in. This is an elderly couple from Latur in Maharashtra. And both of them, he's 75 years old. His wife, let me in fact bring out some details for you. The farmer, who in fact is 75-year-old, and it's a heartbreaking video. Can we just play this full frame, please? Let's just play this out full frame so that our viewers can see this. This is the plight of Ambadas Pawar, who has 2.5 acres of land in Latur district of Maharashtra in the Marathwada region. He does not have any resources to get an oxen or a tractor to till the land, and he's preparing for sowing the crops. Neither can he afford to hire laborers to do the job for him, nor does he have his sons, those who are in fact working as daily wage laborers away from the village. He's left with no other option but to till the land using a wooden plow, the hull, for several years with his wife Muktabai. It's both of them, Ambadas Pawar and Muktabai. Their plight, ladies and gentlemen, is the reality, a slap on the growing India that we keep talking about, on the GDP numbers that we keep throwing in this country, on the numbers of the billionaires that we keep flaunting in this country. This is the plight of an old farmer, 75-year-old man, who's forced to in fact sow, to till his land, using whatever little energy, whatever little strength that he has in his frail body. The distress in farmers, especially in Maharashtra, it's a haunting situation year after year, and it seems nothing changes. This is the response of the government in the assembly. The government in the assembly has said that between January and March 2025, 767 farmers have died by suicide in Maharashtra. 327 farmers were given financial aid, 1 lakh to the kin of the farmers who died by suicide. They feel it's a better option for their families to die so that they can get that 1 lakh aid than the struggle that they are going on. And this is something which is not new. It's been happening year after year after year. The suicide rates in Maharashtra are among the highest as far as the farmers are concerned. Let me just play that out for you, these numbers, which are very, very significant and dangerous. In 2021, 2,743 farmers died by suicide in Maharashtra. The number went up almost to 3,000 in 2022, came a little down, 2,851 in 2023, still 2,635 farmers died in the year 2020 as well. Lots of promises have been made, but let me very quickly at this moment go across, promises, loan waivers, but the processes, these farmers absolutely at the tenterhooks. And we are talking about a country where the promises were made to doubling the farmer income by 2022. Promises were made that the farmers will see a golden age. This story flies right in the face of everybody who thinks that the plight of the farmers has improved. Devinder Sharma is a well-known agricultural expert who is joining me at this moment on the broadcast. Sir, I wanted to speak about this story, speak about this video, because, for a lot of people, they are absolutely oblivious to the real story of the agriculture distress and the real story of India in 2025. For many, this would be absolutely unbelievable. But I'm sure this is not the only story that you have heard about farmer distress.
Well, first of all, thank you, Ankit. I think it is very heartening to see that you thought of bringing this video out for the nation to know and see. And the distress that you talk about is something that we have always lived with it, not only from the days of Mother India, but also, recently, one of those KBC shows, I remember a Vidarbha farmer sitting in the front seat when Amitabh Bachchan was holding the show. And he asked him, what is your annual income? He says, sir, less than 2 lakh rupees. So then he said, how do you survive? And then the pathetic story came out. But I think it was lost in the din, and we are very happy to see the KBC, somebody earning whatever amount they earned. But the fact of the matter is, yes, you are right. The distress continues. It is a terrible distress that prevails in the farm sector. And as you rightly said, the governments after governments have promised the moon to farmers, but nothing has happened. And I think this clearly shows us that there is a desperate and urgent need to focus on agriculture, not only on industry or the high net worth individuals who are flying away, yes, but I think it is time to look into the real story of India. And the real story of India, I must say my work shows it is pathetic and desperate.
It's very disheartening. We all talk about the Annadata, but this is the situation of the Annadata in the country. May I ask you, sir, then, for somebody like a 75-year-old Ambadas, 2.5 acres of land, doesn't even have the resources to have an oxen or a tractor or even laborers to till his land. He's doing it on his own with whatever, can't imagine. My father is turning 70. I can't even imagine what this man goes through at 75. Where are we failing? What could be done to help at least small farmers like Ambadas?
Well, for several years, we have been talking about and raising our voice to bring focus onto the kind of distress that prevails and what needs to be done. But as you also mentioned, and I think the tragedy is that no one is concerned. When I say no one, I'm talking about the way the governments, the policymakers, the academicians, they are not interested in agriculture. Why I'm saying this is because over the years, we have seen, let me give you a couple of statistics to drive home the point. Between 2000 and 2016, 16 years, in that period, the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, has done a study. It tells us that Indian farmers lost 45 lakh crore. Did we ever hear about it in the parliament? Did you ever hear about this particular aspect in the state assembly or in the universities? The answer is no. Why? Because if the industry had lost even 5 lakh crore, everyone would have been up in arms saying, look at the policy paralysis prevail, look at the need for economic stimulus packages and so on and so forth. But for the farmer, nobody even pinched an eye and blinked an eye. And the result is that we see a crisis which is becoming worse year after year. Last year only, the OECD, which is the largest, richest trading bloc of the world, they have analyzed and said that Indian farmers are the only farmers in the world where they earn or they go into cultivating losses year after year for at least last 25 years. This is what the OECD says. Nobody is bothered about. Please tell me one profession where you can continue with that profession if you were incurring losses. Absolutely. But agriculture, they have been incurring losses year after year, and the governments, they keep on making promises and so on. And this is, we can say we brought in so many schemes and so on. Yes. But the OECD analysis shows that despite all those schemes, our farmers are the only one in the world, major 54 economies of the 54 major economies in agriculture. India is the only one which is where the farmers are incurring losses. Okay. None of the other countries are in losses because the governments make up for the losses by the budget provisions. Absolutely. In India, we leave farmers Bhagwan Bharose, and that is what we are seeing.
I hope, I hope that there are no such videos that I have to play out on my show. It's like I said, Mr. Sharma, at the beginning of the show, the movie Mother India came out in 1957. We are in 2025, 68 years. What was shown on the screens is the reality still in this country. And we can't run away from this reality. Things have to change. If this doesn't jolt you out of your slumber, nothing else will. Sir, thank you so much. I'll have to leave it there at this moment, but appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. All right, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. We have been continuously getting you all the details of the investigation of the Air India crash that took place in Ahmedabad. Now, a week after the crash of the AI-171 on June 12th, at least 3 Air India training pilots on the airline's Boeing 787 fleet have attempted to recreate the likely scenarios which, in fact, resulted in the accident in which 260 people were killed. The pilots attempted to stimulate the electrical failures which could have caused the dual engine failure, which resulted in the inability of the aircraft to climb post-takeoff. They were, in fact, unsuccessful. My colleague Vishnu Shom has more details on this story.
Well, what we have over here is an actual animated replica, digital replica of the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. One of the scenarios which the pilots in the Air India full access simulator were looking at was electrical failures. They were looking to see whether there were any electrical failures which could have impacted the engines over here, which could have resulted in the engines cutting out in that critical phase of flight. Now, whichever scenario they looked at, they found out that in fact they couldn't get a scenario where, as a result of an electrical failure, the engine switched off and the aircraft was unable to gain altitude. So that first point over there, multiple electrical failures, they were simulated, but they were rejected. The pilots felt that that alone wasn't the factor. The next one were fuel switches accidentally turned off. So let's bring you an image of the cockpit of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner that you see, and what we have marked over there, flashing in red, are the fuel cutoff switches. And the point that they realized is that in a critical situation like that, the likelihood of fuel cutoff switches actually being activated is extremely unlikely. They'll be looking out for that. Remember, digital flight data recorder information has also been recorded. They say that just switching off the fuel switches doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone actually do that? The third point, the entire single engine failure situation was simulated. Remember, the engines on the Dreamliner, the engines that you see right over here, they produce a thrust of 70,000 pounds, 70,000 pounds of thrust per engine, right? This is designed to fly through extremely difficult situations using just one of the two engines, as one on either side. Therefore, they were looking at various scenarios to see what they could simulate to see if the aircraft would take off on a single engine. So the scenario which they looked at was the undercarriage was retracted and an improper flap setting was simulated. Let me just explain that. What you see over here is the undercarriage of the aircraft. Right over here, the undercarriage of the aircraft. When an aircraft takes off, moments after that, the pilots retract the undercarriage. Why do they do that? Because the undercarriage is bulky, it is not aerodynamic. They want the fuselage of the aircraft to be sleek so that it climbs away faster. In this particular case, we know that that didn't happen. So what the pilots did is they replicated that. They ensured that the undercarriage stayed down. They then went and to the wing of the aircraft over here, and on the structure of the wings, there are the flaps. Now the flaps are just behind. Those flaps have to be in a particular position, right, to ensure that the aircraft has enough lift at the point of takeoff. Now, even with the undercarriage deployed, even with the flaps in an incorrect position, they were able to simulate a successful takeoff on that particular day, just on the basis of a single engine, given the power of the engine itself. So that's the key point. The next one, as you've got on your screen, the Dreamliner did take off safely despite multiple failures. Therefore, the question is this: was there a dual engine failure? Could it be possible that each of these engines in that critical phase of a flight failed? Now, that is just a statistical probability. People say that that is not likely. But the key question is this, and this is our final point. A dual engine failure, hypothetical, plus no altitude, which we know to be the case. This aircraft was only about 350 feet off the surface of the runway, right? In other words, no altitude. That means the chances of survival were very remote indeed. Pilots do not train for that scenario. It's called a negative scenario. Chances of survival in that scenario are extremely low. Therefore, the question is, was there a mechanical error? Was there a software glitch? Was there a pilot error that they couldn't find out in the simulator? Or was it a combination of all? Next week is when the preliminary report emerges.
And that preliminary report is going to answer some questions. I'm taking a very quick break at this moment. On the other side, next time when you book your favorite Uber, Ola, or maybe a Rapido ride, that could cost you twice as much. Why am I saying that, and how it's going to bleed your pocket? I'll tell you all about that after a short break. Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out there.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. पार हो या नियर, सब कुछ दिखे क्लियर.
बदलाव की इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको यह तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
मैं चिराग पासवान पूरी तरीके से बिहार विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ तत्पर।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है हमको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
ये लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि इनका जो बिहार में जो सरकार है 50% जो नीतीश जी की मंत्रिमंडल में जो लोग बैठे वो परिवारवादी लोग हैं। वो अपने आप को भी परिवारवादी बोले।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7. Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Terry and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools and lead with impact. Starts July 13th. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims?
Welcome back. It's going to be a double whammy for commuters, those who use taxi services, taxi aggregators, because you will first have to face the distress of being in a traffic jam, and while being in a traffic jam you will have to bleed more money. Your pocket is going to bleed more money for the taxi service that you are going to use. Your next Ola, Uber or Rapido ride may cost you twice as much as it is at this moment. Why? Because cab aggregators will now be permitted to charge up to twice the base fare during peak traffic hours as per the Motor Vehicles Aggregator Guidelines of 2025 issued by the Ministry of Road and Transport and Highways on July 1st. Until now, the upper limit on the surge pricing was capped at 1.5 times the base fare. Now, that limit has been, in fact, gone up to twice. Now, what are the rules and how are they, in fact, coming into effect? What changes? The surge pricing, I don't know how the government has come under the pressure, but the surge pricing now is allowed. Ola, Uber are going to charge higher during the peak rush hour. So when you are trying to go to office or come back from office, that's where it will hit you the most. Apart from that, the charge, in fact, they are allowed to charge twice the base fare. So from 1.5%, it has gone to twice the base fare. Earlier, the surge was 1.5 times. That was peak, the capped at it. Now, non-peak hour charges are not less than 50% of the base fare. Those states, in fact, set the fare limits. The base fare caps by the state governments could come into place, and the states have been asked to adopt revised guidelines within 3 months. 80% of drivers, there are the rules that say the drivers will get 80% of the fare. As far as these apps are concerned, the apps can keep maximum of 20%. Cancellation charges have been capped, the penalty of 10% in case of cancellations, maximum 100 rupees or 10% of the fare can be charged as cancellation. The bike taxi, the Rapido and all the other, including the Rapido bikes and all, are now regulated because there was a lot of confusion about these bike taxis. The license is must for all operators. Safety rules are mandatory. SOS, trip sharing is now must for the bike, taxis as well. And the penalty will be very, very heavy if there is a violation of these rules. But How does this come into practicality? How does this, if you are wondering what will happen, what will you see from today, my colleague Tanushka tried to in fact see what happens in the rush hour when these rules come into effect.
I'm on the Uber app right now, as you can see, and I'm booking myself back home from our office. So this is the office location and this is my home location. Now usually, at this time round, the cab fares should not be 300 rupees, 320, and usually these two options are what I book, the Go Priority or the Premier, because these are very comfortable sedan options, and these are almost 400 rupees right now. 400 is the cost that usually comes about at 6 p.m. in the evening. The traffic remains the same, the distance is the same, every day I take this distance, and the time is also the same. However, as you can see, the prices are a little bit over than what it should be. Let us check another app at this point. Let us get on to the Ola app now. To check again the same distance. Oh, the Ola app has even higher prices. So the basic range here is 430 to 485, which is almost 500 rupees, and it's only 4 in the evening right now. Usually, again, the option that I book from office to home is that of a mini, which is right now at 435 rupees. A sedan is at 467 rupees, which is almost 500 rupees. So these are the options that we have as of this moment with respect to the price surges that are already happening. Let us try the Rapido app now. Now Rapido, again, from the same location. This is the NDTV office in Noida, and the economy cab option is for 333. And the cab premium option is again 413. So what we can understand that the average price of booking these applications rides via these applications this time round is 400 to 500 rupees. My cab is here at the cost of 467 rupees at 4 p.m. What otherwise cost me 300 rupees is costing me 167 rupees more. Almost 200 rupees already. Now, the question to you and other passengers who are frequent travelers of cab services is how often or how encouraging will it be for you at this point to take cab services after the base price surges double the amount, considering the surges are already so high. With camera person Stephen Anthony, this is Tanushka Datta for NDTV.
Like my colleague Tanushka was in fact feeling the pinch and was telling you about the surge prices already in effect. Now imagine there are millions of people, especially in the big metros, which use these services. And here on NDTV, as I promised you every single day, one topic that really matters to you, we would like to hear from you. Let's listen into what India has to say today on India Speaks on NDTV.
रेट ऐसा होना चाहिए कि ना तो जो गाड़ी कर रहा है उसको चुभे, ना जो ड्राइव कर रहा है उसको चुभे। तो सबको इस तरह का सरकार को एक रेट माइलेज सेट करनी चाहिए। ये रेट की है, किलोमीटर कितना बढ़ता है, उसमें कितना खर्चा आता है, उसके हिसाब से उसका रेट एक निश्चित किया जाना चाहिए ताकि लोगों की जेब पे भारी ना पड़े।
Yes, the base price has increased, rather doubled, I would say. In a way, I feel it could lead to a positive impact. People who actually don't want to shell out that much money would be forced to think in terms of maybe traveling not during the peak hours, or perhaps carpooling or something. Basically, it's nowadays we see the roads are full of Ola, Uber cars, and it leads to a lot of traffic jam. Probably that will help.
देखिए कंपनी क्या होता है, अगर 1%, 2%, 1% या 2% अगर कंपनी को मिलता है, फिर भी वो लोग का रेवेन्यू बहुत हाई होता है। और अभी उस हिसाब से ऐसा मतलब गवर्नमेंट ने ऐसा कुछ रूल नहीं दिया है कि जो लोगों का मतलब ड्राइवर होगा या गाड़ी का ओनर होगा, व्हीकल का ओनर होगा, उन लोग को ऐसा मतलब ज़्यादा कुछ मैक्सिमम प्राइस कुछ मतलब फ़ायदा हो रहा है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ कंपनी को फ़ायदा हो रहा है।
दोगुना किराया बढ़ाने की वजह से जो आम शहरी है उनके बजट पर उसका असर पड़ रहा है और वो इससे नाराज़ है। लेकिन इस गाइडलाइंस में एक अच्छी बात भी ये है कि उन्होंने यात्रियों की सुरक्षा का भी ध्यान रखा है और जो भी ऐसे ओला उबर जैसे टैक्सीज हो, ऑटो रिक्शाज हो, इनमें उन्होंने लोकेशन और ट्रैकिंग डिवाइस लगाने के लिए भी कहा है।
हमें चाह रहा है कि थोड़ा जो 20% है हमारा थोड़ा कम हो जाए। हमको 20% लेना पड़ता है, ग्राहक हमें देता ही नहीं इतने, तो हर उस पर 20% लेना पड़ता है किसी भी चीज़ पे। OTP डाल देते ही लेके मतलब ग्राहक को डाल दे, सवारी छोड़ना कहीं भी, भले वो पार्सल का काम हो या ग्राहक को छोड़ने का हो।
All right, and before we end the proceedings on this edition of Nationwide at 6, let me tell you about a story which is, going viral on social media. Cash raining from the skies. That happened in Detroit, where a man got a helicopter to drop money from the skies as his last wish. A 50-year-old car wash owner, Daryl Plant Thomas, passed away in June and wanted to give his community one final gift. On the day of his funeral, Thomas' sons Daryl and Jonte organized a helicopter to drop cash and rose petals. This was, they said, a final expression of love from him to the community because he was a giver. Yesterday was simply a farewell tribute to an East Side legend. His niece reportedly told the media. Thomas was the owner of a local car wash, according to the people, and wanted to drop the money as his last wish. All right, that's all the time that we have in this edition of Nationwide at 6. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll see you tomorrow, same time.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
A heartwarming story of inspiration. Meet Dr. Shraddha Chauhan, India's oldest skydiver. At the age of 80, Shraddha skydived from an altitude of 10,000 feet. The video of her jump will make you feel that anything is possible.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको ये तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
मैं चिराग पासवान पूरी तरीके से बिहार विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ तत्पर।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है उनको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
ये लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे। प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि इनका जो बिहार में जो सरकार है 50% जो नीतीश जी की मंत्रिमंडल में जो लोग बैठे हैं वो परिवारवादी लोग हैं। वो अपने आप को भी परिवारवादी बोले।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India, it matters to India, and it matters to me, and it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7. Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Terry and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools, and lead with impact. Starts July 13th. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims?
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. Vasudha and I'm back in Bangalore and time for me to say namaskaram, namaskara, baunnara, nalla irkingla.
Parakambira and namaskar to all our viewers and it's good to see you from Bangalore today, although yesterday was fun. Special focus today evening on the news-packed day that today has been. Special focus this evening on the legal battle between Karnataka and of course the face-off.
That's right. Between the opposition and the election commission. The first one, of course, between Karnataka and IPS officers. But first, let's take you through the headlines. We're tracking this up.
A day after assault on Mumbai shop owner by MS workers, both the government and opposition parties have hit out at Raj Thakkre's party and publicly declared that there is no place for violence over language.
The Dalai Lama announces a succession plan and declares that the 600-year-old institution will continue this amidst Chinese attempts to interfere in the succession sequence.
Well, there's more trouble for Anil Ambani. Bank of India has decided to classify all loan accounts of its Reliance Communications Limited as fraud. This is a move that dates back to transactions that happened in 2016. Anil Ambani's law firm has responded to SBI. Ambani is only a non-executive director. That's what they've said.
First up this evening, a quick update on Karnataka Politics, Vasudha, and the state's cabinet meet, which on a rare occasion was held at the pristine and scenic Nandi Hills outside of Bengaluru and designed to send a message of focus on Chikbalapur and Kolar districts. Took place today. Major announcements there, including multiple projects, and it came in the midst of the media focus that remained on Congress's political equations, with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah declaring categorically that he'll complete this 5-year term, and DK Shivkumar backing the CM and saying, "What option do I have?"
Well, that's right, Veera. There's never a full stop for the drama that keeps happening in Karnataka politically. Now, both leaders, DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah, have repeatedly sent out these messages of unity, but speculation over power tussle doesn't cease. This morning, too, what happened was that in an apparent damage control effort, a video of Congress MLA B.R. Patil apologizing for his remarks against the Chief Minister was leaked to the media. Remember, B.R. Patil's comments were seen by the Congress High Command for sparking the latest round on the power tussle. The cabinet meet at Nandi Hills that we were talking about in some ways hopes to change the narrative that have been made by some of these big announcements.
That's right, Vasudha. The Chief Minister declaring that 3,400 crores worth of development projects were discussed and declared, and that there is no shortage of funds, underlining that there is no shortage of funds there after the cabinet meeting. Also as expected, Bengaluru Rural will now be renamed Bengaluru North. The areas around the airport have had a huge boom in prices, and the effort to rename this was primarily to boost the image of the area, making it part of the urban megapolis. But let's first listen in to the political comments from the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, and also Deepak Bopanna outlines for us news from that cabinet meet.
ನೀವು ತಾವು 5 ವರ್ಷ ಸಿಎಂ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಹೌದು, ನಾನೇ. ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ನವೆಂಬರ್ಗೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಯಾರು? ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಅವರು, ಜೆಡಿಎಸ್ ಅವರು ಸರ್. ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಶೋಕ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ.
I have to stand by him, I support him, and I don't have any objection to it. Whatever the party recommend and whatever it desires, it will be fulfilled.
You mean sir, currently party is not backing you, sir, right now, because your supporters said you have sacrificed so much for the party, you have brought the party to power in the state,
I don't want to discuss anything.
Well, with the kind of statements that have come in from Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and the Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar, it's very clear that the High Command for now has managed to somewhere contain the situation. Now, the operative word here is contain, because this is something that could explode, or should I rather say implode, is the question, because aspirations are not dead.